Hello Internet and welcome to Know Your Combo series. The premise here is simple. I'll try to explain some of the more common commander combos and show you how and when to interact with them. This episode will tackle a convoluted mess that is known as Magda, Brazen Outlaw, as requested by Black Legionist. I hope you like game actions, you'll need a lot of them for this one. Okay, let's start with the obvious thing first. The heroine of the story herself. Magda, Brazen Outlaw is a 2/1 legendary dwarf berserker for 1 generic and 1 red mana. She comes with a text box that can put to shame most blue cards, thanks to her multiple abilities. The first one is the most basic and most often ignored. She grants other dwarves under your control a +1/+0 bonus. It's nice, but that's not the reason why she's mentioned here. That would be her second ability. When a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure token. No limits like once per turn, or when a dwarf you control becomes tapped when attacking. It's just begging for some abuse. More of that later, since we have a third part of the text box left. For the cost of sacrificing 5 treasures, Magda allows us to search our library for any artifact or dragon card, and put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. Once again, no limit of activation and even mana value of target. As long as it's an artifact or dragon card, it just lands on the battlefield on ability resolution. It's quite easy to connect the dots here. The second ability feeds the third one. So if we find a way to abuse the former, we have resources to do the same with the latter. This makes Magda not only an enabler but also an outlet. That allows her to hang out in the bracket 5 with the big bad cEDh decks, where she can helm a dedicated deck that turns her combo potential up to 11. And with that teaser, let's move on to the actual combo breakdown. 2 other things are needed for Magda to go in the overdrive mode. The first, the most crucial one, is the Clock of Omens. This 4 mana artifact has only 1 ability, that allows us to untap an artifact for the cost of tapping 2 other artifacts. The second one is a little more exotic. We need a dwarf that's also an artifact, which is a very specific requirement that is not exactly possible by normal means. As of today, there's no single card that shares those 2 specific types in their type line. But they are cards that are artifacts and have all the types due to their changeling keyword. Universal Automaton, 3/3 Mascot, Barkform Harvester, Bloodline Pretender, and we can also count Metallic Mimic if we choose Dwarf as it enters the battlefield. Other than that, we can also turn any dwarf, including Magda, into an artifact using Liquimetal Coating or Liquimetal Torque. Now that we showcased the required pieces, it's time to explain how this thing exactly works. As mentioned earlier, we need some things before we can start. Magda itself, which is kinda obvious, Clock of Omens for its ability, and any artifact dwarf. To save some space on the screen, this visual example will use Magda in her artifact form, but that's only to make editing this part a less annoying on my end. So, step 1. We activate Clock of Omens ability, tapping the clock itself and artifact dwarf of our choice. As the target we choose the artifact dwarf itself. Since we're tapping a dwarf, Magda's second ability triggers and we create a treasure token. Then we resolve Clock of Omens ability, untapping our chosen artifact dwarf. This is our combo iteration. We end up with 2 untapped artifacts, our artifact dwarf and a newly created treasure token. So we once again tap those 2 artifacts, activating Clock of Omens ability. The same things happens and we create new treasure token and untap our artifact dwarf. We can continue this process as long as we want, each iteration granting us 1 more tapped treasure token. Usually tapped treasure tokens are kind of useless, but Magda's second ability does not require untapped treasure tokens for activation. So for each 5 iteration of our Clock of Omens loop, we can get any artifact or dragon from our deck, which offered myriad ways to finish the game. Any dragon-based or artifact-based combo finisher will work here. So you can go wild with your Terror of the Peaks or Grinding Station. If you're running Maskwood Nexus, any creature combo will also work. They are no dragons after all. Magda is very versatile in her combo potential. There's a lot of other setups built around her ability that can result with a win even without Clock of Omens. But I'll leave that part to dedicated cEDh Magda pilots and content creators. This rabbit hole goes way too deep for this kind of basic short guide. For my sanity, and maybe yours also, let's just assume that Clock of Omens combo is the cleanest one, and you should be aware of how to interact with it. Running Magda at the helm is a little bit too much for my preferences. The potential is great, you have many lines to victory. The deck can be built in a resilient manner, including some backup win cons, etc. I, however, prefer my bullshit served in many colors and in different flavors, and would like to propose including a small Magda's package into other dragon and or artifact based deck. You'll need just 4 cards: Magda, Brazen Outlaw, Clock of Omen, Liquimetal Torque, Maskwood Nexus. That's a very small commitment in terms of deck slots and colors, and should be fine in brackets 3 and 4, depending on the deck of course. Okay, time for the haters. All combos related to Magda make use of her ability to change treasures into specific permanents. Luckily for us, Magda has a small ass. Her being a 2/1 creature without built-in protection means she can die from random squirrel thrown in her general direction. Not to mention, almost all removal spells in the game can send her on vacation in the graveyard. We can, of course, use some proactive options like Curse Totem or Weathered Runestone to shut down her tutoring options before they are a problem. Or use Stony Silence, Collector Oof, or Karn the Great Creator to shut down artifact-based abilities like that of Clock of Omens. In my personal opinion, the best answer would include Cast into the Fire, Abrade, and Suplex. While the first 2 options are instant, you cannot ignore the meme value of suplexing a clock into oblivion. Who said the trains were only valid targets for that? Oh, and Suplex can also exile its creature target, which can be relevant if you don't have access to Swords to Plowshares, or other exile-based removal. And this will be all for this topic. My options were to make this short, or just go all in and do some kind of monster deck tech about Magda in cEDh. And since I'm already stuck with one big project in the background, enjoy this short form video. If you have something to add or have another combo that you would like explained in this format, feel free to drop that in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe to appease algorithm Jesus. See ya in the next one.